The next speech we'll do will be on storytelling. This should be one of your easiest speeches for a couple reasons. One is that everybody knows a story, right? I mean, you all know a story. You had stories when you were in elementary school, stories when you were on vacation, stories in high school, stories in college, stories of girlfriends, boyfriends, stories of parents, relatives, hunting, fishing. I mean, we all have stories. It could be an embarrassing story. It could be a very serious story. It could be a tragic story. It could be a funny story, but we all have stories. And so it should be an easy speech. And these are 4 to 5 minute speeches. A couple things about a story that makes it easy is one is that it has a beginning and an ending, right? They all have beginning and ending. Went to Canada to go fishing, caught my biggest walleye, brought it back to the United States, put it on the wall. Could be that kind of a story, right? I didn't do that, but it could be that kind of a story. And it should contain some amount of enthusiasm because it's a story you've thought about and you care about the story, so you should exhibit some enthusiasm, passion, some interest. It should be an interesting story for you. I'm going to tell you a story, and who's our timer for today? Nick is timer. So these are about 4 to 5 minutes, and I'm going to tell you a story that would be in the category of an embarrassing story, but it's a true story. And it happened to me about 9 or 10 years ago. I'm not easily embarrassed, but in this particular case, I was embarrassed. Because when I was in high school one time, I ripped the seat of my pants. And I just, I didn't want anybody to see me, so I don't know how I did it. I think I let my shirt hang out so it didn't show, and so I spent the whole day worrying about it. And then when I went down to the locker room to change in my gym clothes, it wasn't so bad, but that was embarrassing. Well, a similar experience happened to me about 9 or 10 years ago. I was heading up to War Road to do a presentation for teachers. And when I do a presentation, I always dress for success, just like you guys are dressed for success tonight. I had my suit on, had a tan slacks on, almost like these, shirt and tie. And then as I bolted out the door, my wife Kathy said to me, "Now, John, are you sure your red boxer shorts don't show through those pants?" Because they were kind of thin summer cotton brown pants. And I looked down, I said, "No, they don't show through." And I was in a hurry, so I went out to the car, got in my car, full of self-esteem. I knew I was going to do a good job. Driving down the road to Black Duck on the way to War Road, stretched out my leg. What do you think happened? Ripped. Crotch in my pants ripped, and there were my red undershorts. What am I going to do? Too far to turn back and change pants, so I think now my creative juices are beginning to flow. And I thought, well, I know of a hardware store in Kelliher. There's an old hardware store there. I'm sure if I go in there, they'll have some masking tape. I can tape the pants from the inside. It's the same color. No one will know the difference. So I go to Kelliher, stop at the hardware store. How many have been to that old hardware store in Kelliher? It's old. It's been there for years and years. It's an old one. I think I bought the last masking tape on the wall. It was a thick masking, which was good. It was a thick roll. So then my problem was, well, now how am I going to do this? Because I need to take off my pants and tape it from the inside. I thought if I stopped along the road between Kelliher and Baudette, some might stop and lend me assistance. Why you need some help? And then they'll see me with my pants off. That's no good. I thought if I pulled off the side of the road, went back into a little driveway or someplace, I might get stuck, couldn't be able to get out. That's no good. So then I thought, if I go into the Holiday Station in Baudette, go to the washroom, take off my pants in the stall, tape up the crotch, and I'll be fine. So now I'm feeling pretty good again. I solved the problem. So I get to Baudette, go to the washroom, take off my pants, tape up the crotch from the inside with that tan masking tape, same color as my pants, get in my car, driving down the road again, stretch out my leg, rip, came loose. Now I'm in a panic. I'm in a panic because it's the rip is big enough so that I just can't cover it up. Then I was thinking, I know, the school in War Road, they have a restroom in the library where I was to give my presentation, because I've been there before. I thought if I go into the library, ask the librarian for a stapler, go into the washroom, take off my pants, staple the rip, that should do it, it'll hold. But then I was thinking, what is that librarian going to say or going to think when I ask her for a stapler and then go into the washroom? He said, that's not a good idea. That's probably not a good idea. Then I was thinking, well, there has to be a store in War Road that sells clothes, that sells pants. There has to be there. Has to be one. Small town, Warward. A couple of 1,500, 2,000 people, small town. But there has to be one there. So sure enough, I drive down Main Street at War Road, and there's a little store called Elko. Elko. I go in the Elko store. They get pants on sale for 2 pair for 29 bucks. I buy a pair of pants. I ask the manager, now if I buy this pair of pants, can I put it on in the dressing room and then wear it and then take off my old pants? He looked at me kind of funny like. He said, well, I suppose if you want to do that, you can do that. But then he said you have to worry too, because all those pants, in order to get out without the alarm going off, have to be scanned. So we have to scan your pants while you have them on. I said, okay, well, I can do that. So I put on the pants, walk to the checkout, they take their little gun or whatever it is and scan my pants, and then I go do my presentation. I tell the story to the teachers. They thought it was a great, great funny story. But the moral of that story is, you know what it is? You just always have to listen to a woman. I mean, you just always have to do that. So, from this day on, I always listen to my wife. Time on that?
5 minutes and 30 seconds.
All right, not too bad. 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Tell me some things that you think that I did well in the story, in this speech. Give me one thing, Amos. You don't know. They can't tell me one thing I did well in the speech. Shall give me one thing.
Your story, your story, direction is good.
Okay.
You actually kept moving forward.
Did I? Okay. Yeah. Well, I didn't want to stand still, though. Yeah.
No, I mean the
Yeah.
story.
Oh, okay.
It took off in
Yeah.
the right direction.
Okay. Pardon me? Pretty good flow. Okay. Stephanie, any
I thought it was a very
interesting
interesting story.
story? Had a beginning and ending to it.
Captivating.
Pardon me?
Captivating.
Okay. How are some things that I can improve on, you think, Michael?
Kind of run with pauses or something.
Maybe more
Just
pauses in it?
pausing it.
Okay. Tyler, anything?
No, I think most of it was okay.
Okay. Did I sound like a motivational speaker?
The only thing I can think of is you used the same gestures over
Did I?
and over again.
Okay. Good. Good point. All right. So next time when we meet, come prepared to tell a story. 4 to 5 minutes. Can be a story, a humorous story, fishing story, hunting story. But anyway. So. All right.